moving to Venice definitely changed our life.
We're going to tell you how and why, and we're getting started right now.
The first way in which Venice changed our lives, or moving to Venice changed our lives, is that we feel that we're always on vacation, in the sense that if we want to go to the beach, it's, we don't have to plan a trip to go to the beach. We can just get in our car and go to the beach. If we want to go to another area in Florida, say the Keys or Orlando or Tampa, Miami area, we can easily do that. And it doesn't have to be like coming from Wisconsin to Florida and making a trip and planning it out months ahead of time so that we are actually able to do it. Here it's like, oh, let's go to Miami this weekend, or let's go to the Keys this weekend. We still have to plan, obviously, but it is like so much easier to do so.
And there's a lot of times where, like, especially like if it's a completely different city, where we'll decide literally the day before to go do that. And if anything, obviously in Venice or Sarasota, it's like sometimes we'll just decide like that morning, like, hey, let's go to the beach. Hey, let's go do this. And I think with that vacation feel, one thing that kind of lends itself to that feeling is some of the things that we can do on a moment's notice, such as going to the beach to hunt for shark's teeth or look for seashells, going to jetty, watching dolphins swim or watch sunsets, going to Sharky's every time we're there to get a drink. It's just like, this is awesome.
Sharky's is a vacation basically on its own.
Yeah, so if you don't know what Sharky's is, like a tiki hut like right on the beach, and there's a fishing pier there that you can walk out onto. So all those little things I think kind of lend themselves to that vacation feeling for sure.
Yes.
The next way that moving to Venice changed our lives is it's definitely a overall slower pace or slower vibe. I guess you could say a more relaxed vibe. There's a little bit of a fast-ish pace, I guess, traffic on Tamiami. It's 45 miles an hour, and pretty much everyone drives about that, not like in like Orlando or most other cities where they're going to drive 55. So I guess that way it's slower paced. So, 45 might be fast for you if you're coming from a city where the highest it gets to 35. But pretty much outside of that, just the vibe of everything, it just feels a little bit more small town, a little more relaxed. And that really rubs off on you on a day-to-day basis. It just kind of relieves a lot of stress and kind of just makes you feel a little more chilled out.
Having the sense of community too, it's really easy to move to Venice and feel like you're home. While like if you're moving to a bigger city, it might take a little more getting used to the faster pace of living. Well, I guess if you're coming from a big city to a big city, that would make sense. But coming from a small town to a big city, or a small town to Venice, it's like you're making a literal move almost, but you're gaining having the beach and the weather.
and Venice, I feel like is also like it's still exciting, like moving to other cities in Florida, but it's a little less overwhelming.
Yeah.
Just with the traffic and people on top of each other more and all that.
Getting around too, it's easier, and you don't feel like you're going to get into an accident every time you leave your house.
Yeah, and I also think having the beaches again kind of lends itself to that relaxing feel. Like just going to the beach, looking at the water, hearing the waves, it's just super calming. And yeah, if you're having a bad or stressful day, or just something's going on with work that's creating stress in your life, you go to the beach and you just kind of go into your zen state and be good to go.
Another way in which moving to Venice changed our life is that we are now able to go for a walk year round. Living in Wisconsin, we were only able to do it during the summer months because the remainder of the year was just way too cold for us. And with the snow, like, you really don't feel like walking. I do know people that walk their dogs during the winter, but that's not us.
Yeah, that's definitely not me.
And we get cold really easily, so like being here, it's much better for us, and being able to just go for a walk at any time of day that we want, and not having to condense it down to 3 to 4 months out of the year. That's great.
Yeah, and even more than just the walks, I think just the ability to be outside, period, just to have that warm weather, the sunshine, the vitamin D, and just feels good to be able to get outside and do some yard work or whatever it may be. Not have to bundle up and pack a jacket, scrape the car, shovel the driveway. Like, there's just none of that anymore. And just not having to deal with and worry about those things and be uncomfortable half to 3/4 of the year is really nice. I know some people would say, but you also got to deal with the really hot months, which you do. But for the most part, I feel like I could still just go outside in my shorts and t-shirt, get in the car, I'll be in air conditioning,
yeah,
go to a pool, go swimming in the ocean, whatever. and stay cool those ways.
Yes, and if it's really hot, it's just like in the winter, like when it's really, really cold, you don't want to leave the house, right? So you don't leave your house and you're bundled up because you're so cold. Here it's like you have the AC during the summer months and it's like you're fine, you're comfortable. And again, if you're leaving the house, you're getting into a car with an AC, and then if you're going to a store or whatever, they're going to have the AC there, and it's usually like it feels just cold sometimes.
Yeah.
Like too cold.
And with that, another thing that ties in, I think, that I like is that we could just have the windows open more often to just get that fresh air in the house, in the car. There's something about that. It just puts you in a good mood. Another way that it changed our lives, which I think for some people is like, this is really cool. And other people are like, I don't know how that would be that big of a deal. But for me, palm trees. Palm trees, man. I can look out the window right now and look at some palm trees. And they just look nice. They just put you in a good mood. You feel a little more relaxed. You can watch the breeze in them. And it just, I don't know.
Like it feels a lot more tropical.
Yeah, makes you feel, again, like you're on vacation a little bit. And this I'll also say too. So we have both some palm trees and some oak trees in our yard where we live. And I much prefer the maintenance on the palm trees too. They're much easier maintenance wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, go palm trees, down with oak trees. I'm just kidding. I like oak trees too, but they are a lot more to take care of.
Another way in which moving to Venice changed our lives is that we have been able to meet a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds, from a lot of different other different countries. So it's amazing just how much of a melting pot Florida actually is, and us being able to meet people and learn more about where they're coming from. It's amazing.
And get a feel for like their situation too, like
Yes.
because she's a real estate agent, so like getting an understanding of like
Why did you move here?
Why
Why
did you-
do you want to move?
yeah, the differences in the style of living and just from conversation and the
Yes.
homes and all that.
And how much different it is living in Florida from different parts of the country even. So that's great, and it's always so exciting to talk to people and hear their background and why they want to move to Florida or why they decided to move to Florida.
What they do for work, hear the different accents,
Yes.
hear about the what life was like there, what they liked, what they didn't, why they came here. Some of the differences in culture there, maybe the kinds of food they had there. Just there's so many little details about different people that you're only going to get so much variety from people that are, like in small town Wisconsin where we're from. It's all within a realm, but when you're meeting from people all over the country, sometimes other countries, there's just so many little details that you would never expect that you can meet people and find interesting. Hear the different accents.
Yes.
That's always fun.
Yes.
Another way that moving to Venice changed our lives is it kind of helped us scratch something off of our bucket list or almost something that seemed like a surreal, unattainable dream. We were in Wisconsin. I remember we used to watch HGTV all the time. One of our favorite shows was Beachfront Bargain Hunt.
Yeah.
And we would always see it and just be like, oh, how cool would it be to live in a beach city or near the beach or whatever. And it just seemed like something that would be impossible to do. And so when we first moved to Florida, we moved to the Orlando area and we kind of discovered Venice through a little bit of research and then came out to it once and it was like,
Wow.
yeah, like I don't know, just something about it really connected with us between the downtown, Venice Beach, all that. It was just a really, really good day. And we just kept finding ourselves coming back. And it was like, at that point, it was like, maybe we could move to Venice. And we started tossing around the idea. And even that, and it seemed a little bit unattainable.
Yeah.
But then finally, after like looking at houses and thinking, how can we make this work? Is it, doable with our budget? All this and that. We did it. And to do one of those things that's been on your bucket list and seemed like impossible, it's just very, very cool. And then to go to the beach for the first time as a resident of that city, all those things I think were really exciting. So in that way, it felt like a little bit of an accomplishment and sort of surreal, just to do it. And I think for a lot of people, it's probably more doable than they realize. I mean,
Yes.
we were worried about so many different little things that they didn't end up being that big of a deal.
Right. And for us to, as with many people, the retiring to Florida was, it was that was the plan we were on. And just being able to do it while we're still young and we're still able to enjoy being here and still have the energy and sometimes the time. It was nice to be able to okay, how can we make this work and do it before we actually turn 65, 66. It seemed like something that wasn't going to happen and it seemed like it was going to be difficult to make it happen. But I think if you put your mind to it and you put systems in place so that you can actually make it work,
Or just even,
it'll work.
and yeah, or even just like, crunch some numbers, plan it out, look at different home options, maybe a condo, you know, if a house isn't affordable, which I don't know, we've done the condo thing too, and I would do it again in a heartbeat, honestly. And if you know, come to Florida, you want that more low maintenance lifestyle, maybe that's the way to go. So there's a lot of ways to do it, but it's just, yeah, I think it's changed our lives in the fact that we're like living the dream, you know what I mean? Doing something that seemed unattainable and it just seemed like this pie in the sky idea, and like, here we are.
That could potentially happen when we're older, but that we weren't sure if it would actually happen. So yeah, being able to do it. Again, don't move here without, you know, having all the things in place first, like, you know, a job sorted out, housing situation sorted out. But make sure you put those systems into place so that you are able to achieve your goals and do it before, you know, retirement age, if that's what you would like to do.
Yeah, and one of the things that's important, because we always like to give this tip, make sure you visit Venice once, I'd say for about a week, maybe longer if you can, in the winter, and once for about a week, maybe longer in the summer, because on top of experiencing the weather firsthand on those different times of year, it's also important to experience what the city looks and feels like. It is a very different place, winter versus summer. Summer, a lot of the people are gone. Winter, there's a lot of people here.
Yes, and I think it's a good idea, regardless, to come and visit first before making the decision, oh, I want to move there, from a video. Because, I mean, we try to be very transparent with our videos, and when we talk and tell you everything about Venice, we are always being honest and are always being transparent. But our situation or our experience might be
perspective.
Different. Yes, our perspective might be a little bit different than you. So if you come here and you experience it for yourself, like that's the way to go.
Yeah, and the important thing was too, like with us, we visited a lot of times before we made a lot of drives from Orlando to Venice. It was just like a 2 to 2.5 hour drive.
Yes.
So, you know, take the time to do that in-person research too.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Venice area, make sure to call, text, or email us 941-221-1897. I am a local realtor here.
Call or text anytime, whether you're looking to move in the next few days or the next few months. We'll always have your back. We hear from people all the time and we love it.
If you want to learn more about life in Venice, Florida, check out this video right here.
Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications, and
Live breezy.